I'm Jean Ann Duckworth, and welcome to 5 Minutes for Simple Joy. In an earlier podcast, I talked to you about planning all of your baking before you began. So you should have all of the ingredients on hand that you need to make the cookies that you've decided you want to make this holiday season. When I get ready to bake my holiday cookies, I always begin with my refrigerator recipes. These are the cookies that have to be made and then refrigerated before you can bake them. Sugar cookies, the ones you cut out, or the spritz, the ones I make in the Christmas, the cookie press, those all have to be refrigerated before I can bake them. Also, rolled cookies need to be refrigerated. Make these first, then you can roll them up and put them in the refrigerator where they can set until you're finished making another recipe. When I bake my cookies, I like to bake similar cookies all at the same time. And one of the ways I do this is I check my recipes and I see what temperature the cookies need to be baked at. Then I bake cookies that use the same temperature in the oven on the same day. Some recipes require 325, some 350, some 375. I even have one recipe that has to bake at 300 degrees because those cookies are slow baking. You don't want to have to keep going back and forth with the temperature in your oven. Figure out which ones are 350, which ones are other temperatures, and cook those cookies all in the same day. It makes it a lot easier for you. Remember when you're buying ingredients to use unsalted butter. I used to use oleo, margarine, for a long time when I made cookies, and they were fine. But once I switched to unsalted butter, I found my cookies turned out a whole lot better. The reason for this is one of the ingredients in helping your cookies to rise is salt. And when you use a margarine or a butter that already has salt in it, it throws the ingredients off. You've started with too much salt. You don't want your cookies to be too salty. You want your cookies to be nice and fluffy. You want to be able to control the way that they rise. By using unsalted butter, you can do that. Also, unsalted butter, I think it gives you a richer and creamier cookie when you use that. I used to like to make multiple batches of cookies all at one time, but the problem I ran into is it was just taking me way too much time. First of all, when you start doubling and tripling recipes, it just wears you out. It's really hard mixing ingredients. It's really hard trying to pull everything together and measure everything out. It starts getting to be extremely messy. Even just doubling a recipe tends to overwhelm any bowl you might have. And finally, it takes a long time to bake that many cookies. Maybe it's because I have a short attention span, but I found when I doubled and tripled my recipes, I just got bored before the entire batch was finished. Now, even though it might seem like more work, I just mix up one batch at a time. It doesn't take me that long to mix them up. It doesn't take me that long to bake them. And I find I end up with a variety of cookies in a very short period of time, which is what my family likes. Finally, I like to have 3 cookie sheets, but if you can't have 3 cookie sheets, you can use foil instead. The reason for this is to save yourself time and stress. You can figure out how many batches it's going to take, and then start with your cookie sheets, and then start laying out pieces of foil. Make all of your batches and have them ready, and then you're done. All you have to do is take a batch out of the oven, take the foil off, put another piece of foil with the cookies already on it onto the cookie sheet, and put them in the oven. Things go a whole lot faster and a whole lot smoother when you're able to do things all at once. That's all for this episode. Thank you for joining me. I'm Jean Ann Duckworth, wishing you a holiday season filled with simple joy.